What's up, disc golfers? Joe here with Joe's Disc Golf, and this is going to be a loaded show here. Doing things a bit different. There'll be an explainer that comes out as to some of the changes coming out with Joe's Disc Golf YouTube channel coming out by the end of the week. But that's enough of the shop talk here. You're here because you clicked on that thumbnail, you clicked on that headline, you know what we're talking about here. And that is obviously the most important thing happening, and that is everybody changing sponsors. I kid. No, we're talking about the brand new policy just unveiled yesterday at the time of recording, the PDGA's Gender-Eligibility Policy. That was rolled out here Monday evening. I honestly thought that this was not going to be coming this quickly. I know they said they're trying to get it out before the 2023 season. I didn't have hope. I did not have faith. And then I would have thought they would have released this on December 23rd and just kind of sneak it under the radar and hope that nobody notices, because, you know, that's a Friday, Saturday's Christmas Eve, Sunday's Christmas Day, and for a lot of people, Monday is a holiday observed, so they're off that 26th. So you'd have a lot of time for this to fly under the radar, but good job for them, I guess. Also, I posted a tweet the other day saying I was not expecting that reaction. I was not expecting what they posted. Some interesting reactions on Twitter from that, leaving it very ambiguous. I was actually shocked that they are limiting the ability for transgender women to participate in the FPO field. Now, the restrictions are, as I understand, and I could be a little bit wrong in misreading this, I tried my best, but there's some of the rules that kind of conflict. And I mean, just ask anybody about like half of the PDGA rulebook, if they even read it. You know, there's things where it's like, okay, did he mean this? Did he mean that? I mean, look at what they did with the mandatory rule this season. They changed it like 2 months after it came out. It was like, wait, whoa. We did not mean that. So I'm sure there are things that are going to be clarified here. But as I stand it, as I read it here, I will kind of go through this part by part and let you know what I think is going on. So, in a nutshell, as you can see by this article posted here at joesdiscgolf.com, you should go there and definitely check that out. The new policy, this is just in a nutshell, this is the overview, the basics here, that transgender women are allowed to compete in PDGA Pro Majors only under extremely specific conditions. If, and I'm quoting, if they begin medical transition during Tanner Stage 2, this is in brackets here, earliest stages of puberty, or before age 12, whichever is later, then transgender women are allowed to compete in the FPO division. That also requires them to manage their testosterone levels and make sure that they are within a specific range, which the PDGA has announced is 2 nanomoles per liter. For reference, the average woman, the typical, you take someone off the street, their testosterone levels will be anywhere between 0.5 and 2.4 nanomoles per liter. Now, I know we're getting in the weeds. We're going nanomoles as chemistry. What are we talking, biochemistry here? That's just a measurement term. So if it makes it simpler for everyone out there, PDGA says less than 2. Average woman could be anywhere from a half to 2.4, roughly. So there's a couple more spots after the decimal point, but it negligible in my opinion. You know, you wouldn't even round up to 2.5. So I say 2.4, whatever, 2.5. This is by far the strictest restriction out there, even more strict than what got a lot of attention this summer, which was the International Swimming Federation, FINA, that must be in a different language that is not English, because I don't know how to make that. And theirs is less than 2.5. So there's that. It's a little more strict than that. I don't know. This will prevent the two most prominent transgender women from playing in FPO, and that would be Chloe Alice and Natalie Ryan. Chloe Alice has publicly stated that she doesn't take all of her required meds, her pretty pills, as she calls them. That's on TikTok. I mean, if she was smart, she took that video down, but there's plenty of evidence everywhere, as referenced in the Quillette article. Natalie Ryan, on the other hand, seemed to be following the rules that the PDGA had set forth before. There were no admissions, straight up admissions to like, yeah, I'm just not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. But still didn't necessarily make it fair, although, as I had said before, followed the rules as they were in place. Whether those rules were right or wrong, that's a different story, but followed the rules as laid out. You know, that's just how it was. Now the rules have changed, and Natalie Ryan has to follow those rules. She posted something fun on Instagram, a couple fun things on Instagram. Those things are, well, when this first came out yesterday, she had a nice long statement posted on Instagram, and I will just go ahead and read that and comment as I go. I'm incredibly saddened and hurt by this announcement. I putting myself in that position, I can see that. Okay. I did everything I could to speak on behalf of inclusion, but the PDGA Board of Directors had a decision made before I ever set foot in that room. One thing is clear to me, this change was never about fairness. Yeah, I think it was. It was because, as Natalie Ryan has admitted, she's good enough to win and she doesn't practice that much. Her words, not mine, might be paraphrasing. I don't have the exact quote. We'll get to a little bit of that quote in a bit here. If fairness was the board's only priority, they would have removed all trans women from competition. This decision sends a clear message. The board does not want to see me succeed. I call shenanigans. They don't care about local trans women or semi-pro trans women, nor masters trans women. This is about my success and their aversion to it. Or the fact that you had meteoric rise. Your form is less than stellar, and you don't practice that much, and yet you've won 2 events and place generally. There was a period of time where you did not place well that I believe was related to a hamstring injury. As stated, and I work sports medicine, so it's not unreasonable to think that when you said you pulled your hammy in the first, I think it was at Vegas or was it at Waco? It was beginning of the year and had a couple horrendous, absolutely awful finishes and skipped some tournaments. I assume that was to rehab the hamstring strain. After that, hey, things got better. Now, as much as I want to tell all of you to never renew your membership again, I'm not going to do that. This decision provides no resolution since I still have every intention of winning FPO events. Going to be hard to do if you can't compete in them. I'm going to urge you stay members and fight them with your vote during the next election in 2023. We'll see how that goes. We already have 1 activist on the board as it stands. We can elect more forward-thinking, progressive people. We can push this bigotry out of our sport. It's not bigotry when you're, and I'm going to quote our Lord and Savior, Fauci, following the science. So they looked at a whole bunch of different stuff. There is an interview up by Ultiworld where they talk to the leading European, I believe it's the leading European expert in transgender women in sports. And as she said, and I've done a little bit of research myself, the research that is out there is garbage at best. A lot of it is incredibly small sample sizes with people, it doesn't matter which way they're transitioning, who are generally speaking non-athletes, and comparing strength results outside of that. It's just, you can't compare an average schmo off the street who's not an athlete to and expect to get data from that and then apply it to athletes in any situation. whether you're talking transgender or other people or whatever. It's that just like you can't do that. That's bad data. So the closest thing they got, there was an Air Force study a couple years ago, I don't remember exactly when, where they looked at 7 people pre-transition with their fitness test, with their running, push-ups, and sit-ups. The pre-transition had like a 30-something odd percent chance, or 30-something odd percent advantage, or did more or fast or whatever. After a year or two, I think it was 2 years, it was a negligible difference. But what was not cited in the study was there any training by these participants? Was this a longitudinal study with the same set of data points of comparison of the control group, the non-transition group of women? So it wasn't a good study. It was one of the better ones out there, but the bar is pretty low. You might trip over it walking through the grass. So the PDGA board chose to shrink the sport, not so much. So it is our turn to grow past their hatred and truly make the sport welcoming to everyone. Now, you can kind of interpret that a little bit as playing the victim, but not totally. It would be someone who is pissed off about a result that they are very close to. I can relate. I'm pretty sure all of you can relate. There's something that has happened that did not go your way, whatever that was. I don't know what that could be. You know, you're watching baseball and you thought it was ball and it was a strike, vice versa, whatever. That whole thing. You know, you can empathize, at least in this situation, to say like, hey, you know what? Not quite. But okay. So that was yesterday. That was Monday. This came out on Monday. Now, today, Tuesday, the day of recording, Natalie Ryan posts something else on there with a link. I really wish I didn't have to make this, but here we are. If you have anything you can donate, it will go to a long way, not just for me, but for all the other trans folk out there who strive for the top. I will fight so they don't have to. So there is a GoFundMe out there. This is for legal fees. Apparently, Natalie Ryan is looking into hiring a lawyer. I don't know if this goes anywhere. I don't, like, I'm not a lawyer. I've reached out to a lawyer and have not heard a response at the time of recording. I can update that in a pinned comment down below. If I do get a response and find that out, I'm sure there's a lot of what ifs and maybes out there because, you know, the lawyer is not going to be representing. If they are representing, then, well, they won't be able to say anything, really. So let's go on over to that GoFundMe page. So this is titled Raise Money to Fight the Anti-Trans PDGA Policy. It is not anti-trans. That's what I don't understand. This is where you lose me big time. Not that I was really ever on your side, but like, I feel for people and I want to see them succeed. However, there is the Mixed Pro Open, which you are more than welcome to join, because there you don't have a physical advantage over the competition. So here we go. We're going to read through this because this is, Natalie. Hi, I'm Natalie Ryan, and this is direct response to the anti-transgender policy soon to be implemented in the PDGA and DGPT. The policy attacks touring athletes due to my success on the 2022 tour. Blah, blah, blah. I've always been playing. Skip. This is the part that gets me. This is the part that you have made the argument for everyone who is against you. You have made this argument with this line right here. The reality is I'm not all that great, but I'm good enough to win, and that alone scared people into believing that I was some monster. No, they don't think you're a monster. I mean, there's probably like 2 people out there because there's always someone who believes everything. Let's face it. There are, 9 billion people in the world? Someone's going to believe something out there in loony. No, what they want is a fair, level playing field. And I believe it was like 75% of all touring women did not want transgender women in the FPO division. So, you might want to talk to your colleagues there. So, some of my fellow competitors decided they wouldn't work on their games and improve themselves, but instead tear me down because their games weren't complete. Wow. Are you trying to tell me that no one else on tour no one's out there right now practicing their putting, practicing their upshots, getting some reps in the field, going to a course? Look at how many disc golfers in general, men and women, have moved to warmer climates and where there is harder courses. You had Simon Lizotte moving closer to MVP. You had Haley King moved to North Carolina, Charlotte area, I believe. You had Paul Macbeth move to Florida. You had Brody move back to Texas, that whole situation. Ricky's in Arizona, I believe. And like the Hondo sisters are down in Texas. And Kona is from California area. I don't know if they're out there now. They got the van, or they got the RV, so they could be anywhere. And a lot of these places have RVs, so a lot of these players have RVs. So yeah. This is kind of crazy that you are going out now, you're trying to play the victim and then attack your female competitors because you say, well, they don't do any work. I'm not that great, but you don't do any work, so it doesn't matter. Like, oh, mind is blown. I don't understand. I don't understand at all. Long story short, Natalie Ryan wants to file a lawsuit with the PDGA and DGPT as soon as possible. Should this not go to trial, any of your donations aren't used exclusively for this purpose, I will be donating to the National Center for Transgender Equality so that all transgender people can live a brighter life. Whatever, you can donate your money to whatever. I don't know. I thought that there was something about that where like they can't just take your money. So donate at your own will, I guess. I don't know. I'm not. I think this is going to be interesting. She said that they didn't do their due diligence, but there were 20 or so. There's a page and a half of cited sources. So maybe fund some research into specifically disc golf or into a branch that, could benefit you and prove your point that no, you don't have a physical advantage, despite what you have said, saying that you're not that great and that you are, that your competition just doesn't want to practice to get better. So yeah, that's that. Hopefully that kind of explains some things. Hopefully that caught you up on the news of the day, gave you a little bit of my opinion. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. As always, I've been Joe. You've been awesome, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.